First of all, I don't give a fuck if Donald Trump's little right-hand man is going to jail because that's irrelevant to me. I mean, great. President shenanigans, I don't care. Like, what does that breaking news bullshit got to do with me?
Okay.
Hey, Days fans. Alright, so let me tell y'all the story, right? I mean, it was a good day, a good start to the episode of Days of Our Lives today, and all of a sudden some breaking news bullshit pops up. But you know what? I'm gonna get to that later. So anyways, the episode start with John and Marlena talking about their wedding and how it's been a good journey they've had so far, all this cute stuff, right? And Marlena sees this doll that apparently it was a doll that she was replicated, I guess, for her wedding back in the 90s with John, so she was kind of like, what the fuck? But I'm gonna just continue with what I saw, right? So anyways, Paul and Will were in the room chilling and talking about their day or whatever, and they hear a knock or a noise from the other side of the door, and it turned out to be...
And you know who it was, girl?
Who was it, girl? Who was it? Who was it?
Bitch, Miss Susan Banks is back, y'all, and I mean, me being a psych tech graduate myself, I'm like, isn't this the same lady who not only kidnapped Will, but brainwashed him to be her dead son, EJ Demira? And I mean, like I said, as a psych tech graduate, shouldn't she be in the mental institution? Like, what's she doing here? But they opened the door, it was her, and she was just like so happy to see her and Will and Paul, and they were kind of just like, Susan, it's great to see you, but aren't you supposed to be in the institute right now? Are you good? Did you escape? And she was like, no, I'm clear to be sane, I'm good. First of all, she was just like, I want to give you an apology because it wasn't cool for me to brainwash you and have you pretend to be my son. And they were like, great, I mean, nice seeing you, but we're going to a bachelor party and sorry you can't stay, but you guys to go. And so she's like, really? You know, they told, I guess Will told her that John and Marlena were getting remarried or whatever, and she was like all excited about it. And she was just like, can I come or can I at least go apologize to them? And so they're like, yeah, I think they'd like that, just not today, it's not a good time. So fast forward, Steve and Kayla were at the hospital talking, and I guess she was holding back something from him, but then the other doctor was like, you ready to go? And so they left. Turns out they also went to the bachelorette party for Marlena, and it was Claire, Eve, Jennifer, and them two, I guess. And then Marlena comes in and she's like, where's Sammy? Where's some other lady? And they were just like, we don't know. And then Belle returns. It's nice to see Belle because I like Belle. And she's like, where's your sister? I don't know. I haven't spoken to her since October. And Marlena or some of the other girls were asking, where's Hope? And I guess, and this is where I got clarification because I didn't know why or what else was going on with the show since I've been MIA. But apparently Hope is the reason, or not Hope, but Marlena's the reason why Ben, who killed a whole lot of people, is back, I guess, in the community because he allowed Ben, or she allowed Ben to live with Claire and Sierra. And Claire is her granddaughter and Belle's daughter, and Sierra is Hope's daughter, so of course Hope is gonna feel uncomfortable. And that's when Eve was like, what the hell? You really gonna do this right now? And we all know Eve's daughter Paige was murdered back in 2015 by Ben, so I mean, I miss her. True O'Brien, girl, I hope you're doing well, but I do miss you on days. But yeah, of course, we all remember Paige was murdered by this fool. So there's some beef and there's saltiness among some of these ladies, but I mean, it's a bachelorette party, and Susan decides to crash it. So she, before that, Marlena shows the doll that I mentioned earlier, and she was asking the girls like, this is the same dress I wore when I first married John back in the 90s or whatever. Whose is this? And that's when Susan entered and she was like, you got my gift. And I was like, oh, she is such a bachelorette crasher. Like, she is such a bachelorette party crasher. And so you can tell all the other girls were like, who the fuck is this? And then no one was just like, stay calm, don't worry about it. And so she was just asking Susan like, oh, you know, how are you? Did you get kind of like the same stuff Will was asking her, like, did you escape? Are you sane? She was like, yeah, but you know, no one likes me here, I'm gonna just leave. And then she was like, before I leave, is Sammy here? I don't want her to just come out here and acting like she about to do something. And Marlene was like, no, she not here, she's doing her own thing. Oh, and then I guess I'll stay. So they ended up, I guess, painting one of her favorite flowers on the easels. And you know, Eve couldn't keep her mouth shut. She was just like, I'm here for the wine. And she tried to stir something up because prior, Brady and Eric were talking, and I guess she was trying to like start something with Jennifer because the camera would flip to her and Jennifer. So I don't know what that tea is, but y'all know Eve is a shit stir, but I love her. And to the guys' bachelor party, they were playing darts, and Eric and Brady were versing each other in darts. It was good to see all the bros, I guess, back together. John was having fun. Paul decided to go kick it with his dad, and that's when Will was sitting there by himself. And apparently his grandfather Roman was like, what's wrong? And he was like, well, I've been kicking it with Sonny and he still loves me. And I was just like, oh. But then Roman was like, what did you say to him? And I didn't say anything. I love Paul. But it's just like, he was telling him like, I don't want to tell Paul because that's going to piss him off even more and cause more problems. But it's just like, yeah, and if I was you, I'd keep my mouth shut, right? So anyways, Paul and John were playing catch outside, and he was like, you know, I just wish I got to see you doing this while you were growing up, but I'm glad I'm getting to now. And so he was just like, well, Paul, honestly, I want to see one of them 100 miles per hour throws. And so Paul was like, all right. And so when he threw it, name was called, and he turned, and that's when he got decked in the face with the ball. I was like, oh, ER, here they come. And then commercial break, right? And this is the part that pissed me off.
It's very dry. It's almost kind of like your vagina.
So it was about 30 minutes into the episode, right? And I was like, okay, you know, John gets hit in the face. Susan's a party crasher. Like, okay, this is a good episode. Apparently, this is when Donald Trump's little sidekick was breaking news. He's getting charged for this and he's a convicted felon. And I'm like, really? What this got to do with, like, unless there's an earthquake warning or a hurricane, don't bother me. Don't bother my shows. Like, what the fuck? And it just rambled on about this dude who been arrested and works with Donald Trump. And I'm like, so? Like, I mean, politics, cool. I don't worry about politics. Like, I'm not about that life. And again, on the bottom, it just read, Days of Our Lives will continue tomorrow. Sorry for the inconvenience. And I'm just like, I've been in school for a year. I've been busy as fuck. If I got the opportunity to watch My Days of Our Lives, I got to watch it during clinicals when it was on for the patients, clips after school, like, and I was like, oh my god, today's the day where I get to watch a good episode. Like, this is gonna be my real tea. Like, what happened? It's been a couple of months since I watched a full episode, and I only got to see half because of some bullshit.
Nappy headed hoe from Chicago. Shut the up, bitch.